Let's take a look at the brand new automatic hole count referencing in Solid Edge ST9. If we go and create ourselves a little call out to annotate these holes in this little do nothing widget part, the first thing you would naturally do, I would hope, is click the feature callout button. In turn, this puts the %HC. Well, what does that do? That tells the software, now I'd like you to come over here to the feature callout tab, and when I click on the edge of a hole, it's going to say, okay, what kind of hole is it? Is it a counterbore? Is it a countersunk? Is it a center drill? And once it figures that out, it will then evaluate each one of these markers that was inserted by clicking these buttons to refer to hole size, hole depth, counterbore depth. I know, looks a little nerdy, but it's the kind of thing that you define once and you kind of set it and forget it. So here, I happen to know this is a simple hole, and if I would like to have the quantity of those holes show up, you certainly could just use your symbols and values dialog, and you'll see in here that there is a number of quantity related little symbols. One of them is smart quantity, that's a QN, and the others are, you've got a QC for coplanar, and you've got a P for parallel. So coplanar means if the axes of the holes are, or I take that back, if the holes all lie on a single face, let's count up those holes. If the axis of the hole is holes are all parallel, kind of pointing in the same direction, let's count up those holes. If you want all the holes in the entire part to be counted up, so one call out gives you the total quantity regardless of the direction that any of those holes come in, as long as they are the same exact parameters for every hole and it's actually a hole created with the hole command in Solid Edge, you can use these. So what I'm going to go ahead and use is the smart quantity. That's the most interesting to me because it does have a little extra smart. So I'm going to hit OK, and maybe I'll put a little space there, and then we'll do a PL, which means places. Actually, let's skip that. So we just put the QN. So what does QN do? QN is smart, so that means come over here to the Smart tab, and in the hole quantity note, it's then going to use the QC. Let's come back to that. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, click the edge of the hole, make the scale a little bigger just so we can see it, and you can see that shows 2x. And if I pick this, I select it, you'll see it highlights the edges, which is really nice. Highlights the edges of the two holes that it actually found go together. So why did it pick just 2? Let's go ahead and look at the properties. Go into our smart depth. Remember, it came from it hops around here. It starts out with general, hops into the feature callout, finds the QN. The QN is smart, so then it hops over here to the Smart tab, and here's where it actually does its business. So QC was coplanar, the C for coplanar. So those holes lied on the same plane, so it found 2 of them on that plane. So if we change this to P, which was for parallel, you see it picks up 3. So there would be actually 3 holes. Kind of think of them all drilled in the same axis. If you had a drill press, you would just set this part up once and drill 3 holes all at once. So that's all in the same planar. And then if we wanted to simply see them all, we would use QA, and you can see that it says 7x. I'll go ahead and hit OK. And again, if you just touch it, it's highlighting all 7 of those holes for me. So very nice automation. And the nice thing also about the smart, what's so smart about this? Why did they use this separate tab here? What's smart about it is, you could put X or PL after it, and it will know to do that. But if there is only one hole, it won't output any of this. because it will look very silly if it said 1 places all the time. So that's the smartness of that. So let's go ahead and jump into this part real quick just to talk about that a little bit more. The holes just simply need to be the same parameters. So if I right click on this and separate that out, this now could be changed to a separate hole, but it is in fact the same parameters as all the other holes. And then maybe if I took this one and I actually break it, so that turns it into just a set of faces. It's not really a hole. It doesn't have parameters associated with it. It's kind of just a cutout command in that case. So just so you understand how this works in the software, so then when I update the views, you'll see that it's found 6 because it still finds all the parameters of the 6, but that one that I converted into just a plain old cutout, it now doesn't see that. So that's a nice new functionality in ST9 to automatically get your hole quantities in the drafting environment.